Hey guys, we're back talking about my favorite weapon, the stick, because everything is a stick. And I want to go through, we've talked about striking counts, which is really about where on the body, to strike and, combinations to do those things. Versus just a system to use to just practice, striking with the weapon and then creating your own combinations to practice. So the system is called the Octave system, and we're going to think about like a stop sign. This was originally taught to me as a defensive system. So you're building a stop sign as in like stop attacking me, right? And what it is we're going to start with our stick, and we're doing our first two motions as the top diagonals of the stop sign. So 1 and 2. Our next two as the lower ones. And I'm coming in and I'm pressing in and striking down to block this strike versus like flipping my stick over, because this position is very, very weak, right? So we're here and here. We're coming in here and here. Now from there, we've got the 4 diagonals of the stop sign. Now we're going to work the 4 straight lines. So we're to the side there, and we're to the top and the bottom there. So diagonals, right? And then horizontals, verticals. So with those motions, those are the blocking motions. We can just think of them now as the striking motions. So we're doing, those top 2 diagonals, those bottom 2 diagonals, right? So making basically an X here, reverse of that here. Then we're doing the horizontals, right? Here and here. And then the verticals. It's really easy to want to throw the vertical down to the top of the head, but then coming up to the chin is a little tricky. I like to think about if I'm throwing this, I'm probably throwing it to the weapon arm as I step off and it descends, coming up here. So I usually go like collarbone, armpit when I'm working the bag, and when I'm working motion, I might go here. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. What you might notice is there's no pokey bits in there, and the reason is we can throw that pokey bit. If we're doing it like this, this is a way in which I would throw an 8, right? So if you think about my strike is coming up on that diagonal, I'm not up on that vertical, I'm coming up and straight in on that. So when we do our stabs, I could go as a top diagonal in either way. I could go as a bottom diagonal in either way. I could come from the side. I could come from this side. I could be stabbing down, or I can be stabbing up. Now, some of those motions look a little bit stronger than other ones. When I'm coming in, I'm doing this. I just talked about how this is a weak position. Well, it's because I'm not moving my body. We want to align our hips with our stabs. So when we're coming in, when I'm coming in from this side, this live side, my hip is lined up to kind of push with that. But if I come in from this other side, what I'd consider my dead side here, I need to get my hips involved. So I'm actually going to step out so I can line my hips up to the attacker and come in with my poke here. So I might be 1 and 2. I might be 3 and 4, coming into the sides here and here, stepping down, stepping through for my strikes. Now from there, from the octaves, so now we've got those 8 slashing style attacks. We've also got 8 thrusting style attacks. I like to work it by working triangles. And what we think about is that triangle, just in the way that we draw the triangle, 3 lines, right? That could be 3 strikes. So here, here, here. 1, 2, 3. And I can work, footwork to move around the bag as I do that. But any way that I draw that triangle in that upright position, I could draw it, this was going down here. I could just as easily go up and up, and then through, up and up, and then through. So each diagonal of the triangle can be drawn in 2 ways, right? for three strikes. So that's 2 to the third power, that's 8. So I have 8 variations that I can actually work on just drawing triangles in that single position. And that's a good way to, you know, think about your footwork and doing short combinations. If you're actually in like a, you know, a sparring type thing and you're thinking about throwing, you know, combinations and you're thinking about the counts, a 9 count, you're never going to get all that off, right? That's more of just way to practice working the stick in your hand. But these triangle type combinations, like kind of working a 3 count, a 3-part strike makes a lot of sense, you know, and especially if I'm coming in, well, maybe like, you know, I'm touching their weapon here, like I'm anticipating that, and I'm using that to ride through for the second one, and then here. So using these and being able to get really quick with those is very good. Now, you can also rotate that triangle, right? So we talked about just a regular upright triangle, and you know, I could throw it that way. I could throw it that way. You know, I can do it 8 different ways, but I can also rotate it. I can have my triangle upside down, right? So now I'm coming here and then making my diagonals. I'm coming here, maybe my diagonals are reverse, right? Maybe I'm starting with those and then finishing at the head for that strike. And then, you know, again, with the footwork moving through. I can rotate that triangle, not just up and down, but I could have it to the sides, right? So I could be doing this here. So I'm coming in like so. I can also put that triangle on an off angle in the octave, right? Building out that full stop sign. And now my striking is a little bit different, like so. So those are just different ways you can practice and incorporate in working the stick. You can also turn any of those triangle type movements into a stab. So maybe, you know, I'm doing the here, but I want this one to come through as a stab. So I'm here, right? So you can work those thrusts on any angle of the triangle, again, using those different motions. And then if you rotate the triangle in different ways, you're gonna create, you know, different opportunities to strike. So if we have that kind of one that's off at the diagonal here, that makes it where I can actually kind of do a stab up for the last part of my triangle, right? So different ways to work and engage the bag. Really only works for stick type weapons, slashing type weapons. Kind of works okay for the nunchuck, but if you get into any more of a complicated weapon and its design and the ways that you have to use it, it makes less sense to use this method and then just working kind of combinations or finding forms and combinations that are more suited to that weapon, like the meteor hammer. You would not try to use an octave system to work that. You would probably not try to use a count system to work that. It's a very unique weapon, has to be practiced in a very unique way. But just for your basic, you know, stick stuff, again, you've got your blocking on that stop sign, right? You've got your striking, same way on that stop sign. You've got the ability to turn anything into a triangular type pattern to work those counts. And your thrusts, you're working that footwork to get everything through, right? So you're practicing your motion and finding where you can put that power in there. So just a little thing to practice and work with, and, you know, working the stick. Having some kind of bag is really good. You do not need a 1,000-year-old Dallas to beat up any kind of bag is good. Doing weapon stuff on bags, I just like the kind of rubbery stuff that this guy is made on, because he's taken a lot of abuse. I have to re-duct tape his face every now and then, but he's survived good. If you use a more traditional style bag, chances are you're going to cut it up a little bit faster than you would one of these guys. So I think these guys are a lot of good bang for your buck. You can find them on Craigslist pretty frequently. I was thinking about getting another one here recently to, you know, kind of show some two fighter method stuff, but we'll just stick with Dallas here for the time being. You guys have a great weekend.